Hello, this is Jon Rognerud, the author of The Ultimate Guide to Optimizing Your Website. This is a bonus. And for you that have bought my book, I want to thank you. Fantastic. You took action. You're moving right along the path of mastery here. And today, I'm super excited because this is an updated presentation of the Marketing Mindset Mastery. It's the 4 central keys to unlocking your online success. And you know, when we talk about this optimization of websites and online assets, you know, a lot of people get right into the tactics. You know, what are some of the tools that you use? What are some of the tips and insights you can give us? Well, all of that is important in the context of a plan, right? So today, I'm excited to take you through the 4 foundational steps here. This is part of Training Essentials in a course that I have available, but I want to give this to you today. And not only will you learn the essentials to really building your online empire, but you'll actually discover something kind of interesting here. It doesn't start with the tools or the shiny object, right? You probably have heard this before, but you kind of forget, you get sucked into it. It's all about how you look at these things. And if you are in business, have been in business for a while, and you are trying to grow to the next level, you may find yourself stuck at some level. And getting stuck is obviously not cool, but to snap out of it and to get to a new place, well, that's a hard thing to do. We are creatures of habit, and you know, the things we know and the things we've acquired, you know, we get to a place where we simply can't move. So today, I'm going to help you move to the next level. I'm very excited to share this with you. It's an updated program, as I mentioned, and also at the end, I have some examples to share with you, and a special download as well, where you can get to see all these things that I talk about here today. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right in. Okay, here we are. So, question mark, right? What is this all about? The framework of online success and the marketing mastery. Well, there's really 4 key areas, as I mentioned, and it's kind of a process. And within these 4, there's a number of elements you need to consider, and I'm going to take you through them here today. The first one, of course, we need to get the foundations right. This is simply getting your ground solid. You know, the ground is solid, but we want you to stand on solid ground. We certainly want to talk about how we get a high-touch communication going through personal connections. We are dealing with humans, of course, and of course we talk about search engine bots. That would be the non-human part when we talk about websites. We're not going to cover that here today. This is again all about your mind and how you look at marketing and sales. We're going to dive into strategies and tactics, of course, always there, interesting at the end. We want to cover all the things you can do now to really build not only massive amounts of traffic for your business, but clearly you want to convert that business to some transactions, whether you're a traditional e-commerce type of an outfit, or if you're more in the B2B sort of big sales, IBM thinking, or somewhere in the middle, small to medium-sized businesses, even local shops, etc. All this is going to apply for you, whether you're a professional service, as I said, big business, medium, small, and it's going to really help you to think about that next level, as I said. So let's go ahead and dive into the first step. And you're not going to see a lot of slides here and a lot of images, because frankly, I want you to focus on my voice, take notes, put aside all the noise in your life right now for the next hour, because we're going to cover a lot of the details that has taken me years to learn. And frankly, you can get a lot of this stuff online, but I'm condensing it in here to one sort of presentation. And I have learned this from studying, from researching, from applying, and also through my mentors. So hands out and kudos to all the mentors, and I hope you have one as well. So first one we're going to dive into is marketing foundations. You need to basically start with something fairly simple, but it's not necessarily easy, as the expression goes. Open your mind, change your thinking. How do you build a castle like that? Well, you certainly don't build it by starting getting bricks and whatever else you might need. Clearly, I'm not a construction or builder in that sense, but you need to get your platform and your blueprint right. You know, if you're building a house, you certainly want to get that architect with a blueprint first. And so, consider this your blueprint. And if you think about customers, right, prospects in your business, you need to be able to do advertising in your marketing. You need to, of course, create sales from that. Marketing is all about getting customers on a consistent basis, and of course, you want that to be high quality. Yes, we talked about conversions. Not any traffic is good traffic, so you want to be able to convert those, and of course, upsell those, cross-sell those. Downselling, you hear these things. Well, a lot of opportunities lost with people simply not following through on new opportunities in the in the sales funnel experience. So at the end here, we also want to talk about remarketing. Be able to follow up with them through cookie-based advertising. And here's an interesting thing about this. When it comes to marketing, and I heard this quote somewhere, and I think it's fantastic. It's a great way to look at this. What would you do if you only got paid when you provided a result for your client, right? It's like, what are some of the key essentials to what you would be doing? If you only got paid when you provided results for your client, you certainly wouldn't just do the regular, yellow pages or bland kind of ads and web pages. You would make sure that your message was heard. In fact, one of the books I recommend that you read, which will cover a lot of this marketing mindset stuff, is Robert Cialdini, Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion. It's up on Amazon in the 5th edition now, and it talks about the 6 principles of influence, which is the rule of reciprocation, commitment and consistency, number 2, number 3, social proof, number 4, liking, and number 5, authority. I'm not going to dive into this too much, but I wanted to mention here at the onset, because so much of this is exactly what you need to be doing before you create your landing page, before you create your PPC or AdWords ad, or a specific landing page for your website or for your SEO work, right? Anything that you do in your marketing world needs to be based on a results-based thinking. It needs to be based on the psychology of how you can persuade and not manipulate. This is all ethical, good stuff, right, that you're pushing out there that really can help your advertising sales, as I mentioned, getting your customers, building that conversion, upselling, cross-selling, downselling strategies, and of course, remarketing. So we basically, in the marketing foundations area, talk a lot about a different way of thinking, and ultimately this is about how to get customers, right? We want to find them and we want to sell to them. If we don't do this, well, then it's failure. But here's an odd little thing, and maybe you haven't thought about this, but in our culture, in our society, the thinking here is that marketing and selling is bad. Right? You know this, and you felt it. And we certainly don't like salespeople who come at us with full barrage of attitude and sales strategies and tactics to try and undermine the real value of what they have or try to oversell something. This is just, I'm going to hopefully help you here a little bit and change your approach on this, because clearly, as you now open your mind and change your thinking, you need a little bit of help here. So I'm going to do that here today. And also in this is that, if you are hired as an employee into a company, unless you're in sales and marketing, you don't think much about it. It's just a job, and that's where you collect your paycheck, etc., right? And you go home. Well, you need to change this to a business mindset, an entrepreneurial mindset, that you have to do whatever it takes. And that doing whatever it takes to get customers and finding and selling them means that you're going to have to deal with rejection. People are going to say no right into your face, maybe right on the phone, right at the conference, right at wherever you are. In any interaction, rejection is going to happen. In fact, you might feel the pain of somebody just unsubscribing your email list. Well, you're going to have to deal with that, because guess what? Welcome to the entrepreneurial and business world. This is where you need to live now if you want to be successful. If not, of course, just close out this webinar presentation and just read another good book of some other topic. So you have to do whatever it takes, as I said, and that's also trial and error. Because a lot of the things that I teach and train and consult on, yeah, there's a lot of good experience there, and I've seen and failed a lot myself, actually. But if I come in and say exactly how to do things and you do it exactly that way and you feel like, well, that didn't quite work, Well, then that's exactly right. You need to test. You need to get some guidance. You need to get your mentor and coaching done. And you need to read and learn, right? But you need to test, test, test. And a lot of this feels a little weird because if you're out there and you have gathered so much information and you're applying yourself, and the first thing you do is start talking about testing, it doesn't feel like a foundation, right? The truth is, all marketing is testing. And as you test, you'll learn. And then you can finally tweak and tune programs that will really kill it for you, which would be amazing when that happens. So you need to, as I said, learn and master marketing and training. You need to commit. You need to go. As I said, if this is not your model, then just scoot on out of here, just to be blunt. But absolutely, your strategies and your actions need to be in place. So a great way to look at this and to kind of change your mind around this is to take your business model and think about it as the dating model. You know, what do we see from the dating model? Well, we know that you cannot just simply walk up to the person and say, listen, I like you a lot. Here's a wedding ring. Let's get it going on, right? No, that doesn't work. You need to do your research. You need to actually find out what are some of the gaps in the marketplace. Who are you really trying to speak to, and what kind of niche, within your business. You may find that there's many niches. You have a kind of a master niche. You may service topic A, and topic A is not working for you because it's too competitive. Well, branch it down to subtopic, right? Subtopics and niches is what you hear. You hear this concept of get rich in the niche, right? Well, it's very true. And how do you actually find out what you need to communicate in that niche? Well, you need to, as you've heard the expression, seek and ye shall understand. You must ask. You must do your research, as I said, and seek to understand that and realize that people buy from an emotional perspective. Yes, there's some rationale in there, but very little. It's the lizard brain, as you probably have heard, that reacts to this. And when you think about this, that's exactly what you do during a dating kind of exercise, right? You don't go out there and talk about your features of your body and your mind. You talk about the benefits, the emotional ties. And if you think about it, and let me show you here just really quick, you probably have seen Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Well, this is exactly what I'm talking about, right? This idea that you have needs versus wants, and there's things you need and the things you want, and you need to discover what is really truly their biggest problem, their biggest challenge, their biggest issue that they're faced with. And if you apply this and sort of take it from, point A on the left side to point B on the right side, to get that ultimate date on the right side, what are the steps in between there? What do you actually do to get that date? And of course, after the date, there's more going on there. We're not going to get into the secrets of dating here today, but you clearly see that model applies extremely well to any business marketing that you're doing. So when you do this, then what you have to really break down is this idea of personas and the fact finding that goes into that. We're going to talk more about that here today. But, who is she or he, right? What are the specifics? Think about the way they speak. How do you talk with a friend? How do you engage? All of these things that are very personal in nature matter. And yes, each industry has a certain way of speaking. You have the traditional sort of IBM corporate speak, and then you have the way that somebody like Zappos might speak in the shoe selling business, right? There's a conversation that goes on, however, and it is very personal, and you need to understand that to get these foundations right, you really must open your mind and change your thinking to a new way of approaching this and thinking about not only how to get customers at a constant basis, moving into that business mindset, as I said, continually learning and mastering this marketing stuff, learning from that dating model, as I said, and then really diving into your personas and finding out who you are speaking to. and again, we're going to talk more about that, really, really will help here in terms of these marketing foundations. So this is really the first section of the 4. So I hope this has helped you. So let's go ahead and dive into section 2 here. And I appreciate you sticking with me because there's tons more coming up at the end here. And here I talk about something probably fairly obvious to you, but you would be amazed. This is the idea that we're marketing for humans, right? We really think a lot about communication and connection. And you probably have heard the expression, right? Is we hate to be sold to, but we love to buy, right? And this is the idea of how we buy, how and why. You know, we want to understand and we want to help. We want to be understood and we want to be helped, right? So again, a little bit I talked about this, you know, the benefits, the results, the solutions. That's what you need to present before product or service. And this is where I would say 90% fail. I mean, think about it. How many times do you go out there and you're searching on Google, right? And you get to a page and you see immediately the talk that says, been in business since 1947, best pricing, best customer service, I'm the greatest lawyer in town. All about me, right? There's no benefits, results, or solutions. There's no social proof. All the things that Robert Cialdini talks about in his book, right? We need to get this right. There's simply no way ends about it. Buts about it is the expression, I guess. So the needs and the wants of your perfect customer, that should be primary focus for you. So what are the motivational factors, you know? And in fact, you know that there's a difference between needs and wants now. The need is, of course, food, water, air, right? Things you want. What might be that Beamer? That might be the Mercedes. It might be the house. All these things factor in because you are driven by motivational factors. Search marketing and SEO and organic. Basically when somebody types into Google, that's something that they absolutely need. They need that. A want might be more of a social media thing. They might not actually need it right now, but since you sort of interrupt them online with an ad or some kind of a post in Facebook, etc., oh, I might want that. Well, you need to discover what those motivational factors are. And how do you do that? Well, you do it with questions, as I said. Surveys are fantastic. You ask them and you talk with them. If you're a larger organization, make sure that you have the groups, the business units, understand and talk with their customers to get a more global view into this. So it's not just simply you as a CEO sitting at the top saying, I know what's going on here. And don't be everything to everybody, right? I had a friend who wanted to sell, backache solutions, and I asked her, "Who's this for?" Well, it's frankly for everybody. And I said, well, that's not going to work for you unless you have $1 billion marketing budget. So you need to basically niche down, as I said, and be very specific. Sure, you could have, as I said, a master topic or a master theme that you cover, but niche down. Get your marketing niche down. And it's not necessarily something you have to do day one, in terms of you're so specific that you're sort of excluding yourself from others, but you need to test it and you need to be aware of it. So map it out and enter the conversation that's already going on in their head. This is a big deal. So if I'm searching for something, I get to a page, what's going on in my sort of emotional triggers already? What's my conversation saying about this expected result? If you can get in there and understand that, man, you're way ahead of the curve. And realize that fear, frustrations, and pain, that's more an attractor and a business builder for you than pleasure and aspirations, right? And, I don't want you to sell fear, but if you think about it, we're attracted to fear, or we're actually trying to get away from fear and attracted to pleasure and aspirations. But in fact, the things that move us often is the fear, frustrations, and pain, right? So what can you build in to your perfect customer that speaks exactly to what they're thinking, that conversation, as I said? And a great little sort of acronym here is FABB in this context, is to sell the fab, right? Features, advantages, benefits, and benefit to the benefit. So the classic example here is, of course, the air conditioning in your car. You talk about the features of the air conditioning. The advantages is way more beneficial, that it's going to cool your car. And the benefits is that you can drive around on a hot summer day and feel refreshed. And the benefit of that benefit is that you won't be tired or wasted at the end of the day driving in the hot desert, and you'll feel refreshed, right? You see how talking about the benefits are way more important than a fast air conditioning engine that never breaks. That's less important and should be the last thing. So when we think about this, and to become a real marketing master in this sort of human connection bit on this slide, we know that, and you probably, if you haven't read this book, it's a fantastic book. I have it right here in front of me. In fact, it is, and I'm going to open it up right now, Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, the 21st century edition, annotated with updated examples. That's the one that you should get. And he talks about thoughts, beliefs, actions, and results, right? Your thoughts drive your beliefs, that drive your actions, and build your results. So to become a marketing pro, essentially, in this marketing mastery, you need to actually seek them out. I mean, are you actually doing this? Or are you sitting back waiting for customers and prospects to seek you out? Well, guess what? Newsflash, right? They will not find you. And so you need to learn this. You need to become a marketing master, a pro. And how do you do that? Well, you can use your study old ways, or you can get new books. You can get new learning. You can get coaches and mentors. And people that actually are interested in your success, not just, hey, I sold you a course, I got some money from you, good luck, right? You need somebody who actually cares about your success. And this gets us into money making, right? So when we talked about behavior, the human behavior, the needs and wants, when we talked about you becoming a master and a complete mastery of marketing, we really ultimately want this, right? Money making, because frankly, without money, nothing's going to work. You won't be able to reinvest into your business. You won't be able to take your family on trips. You won't be able to do any of the things that you want without money. And if you're a religious person or anywhere in between, you need to realize that money actually makes the world spin. But it doesn't mean that you have to be greedy and weird and strange. There's a lot of talks about rich people just being greedy and weird and nasty. That's not the case at all. You need to make sure that you apply your marketing principles in a way that builds your company, your business, your life in a very ethical and heart-centered way. That's the way to win. And so money making then is, there's some great ways to think about this. First of all, marketing is often sort of pursued as an expense area. Well, it's actually not an expense if done right. That's the truth. Marketing actually can have a great ROI for your business, and realize it's a long-term process, right? This is not overnight by any means. And you need to consider ongoing work in the advertising area. You need to consider your websites and your landing pages, all of that online stuff that drives traffic and business to you. And of course, offers, any special offers that you have out there, emails that you're building your reputation with your community with, and also, of course, asking new ones to join you. Videos through YouTube and other places, that's absolutely a fantastic vehicle these days. And of course, the greatness of being able to add a video to YouTube and optimizing it and allowing Google to find you and essentially your visitors, your prospects. And then the upsell and the cross-sell, as I said, within this long-term process in this context, very, very important. Now, when you do this, of course, the key to all of this, and it doesn't work without it, and I mentioned that before, is the persuasion factors, How do you do that? Well, you certainly have heard about the know, like, and trust. You need to create trust in your audience. You need to position yourself as the top authority and take a leadership position in this. And really a big one here is, and it's even the big firms forget this because they're so much relying on their brand to take them to the next level, to take the prospects to the next level. You need to have a call to action. You need to have a taking action clause pretty much everywhere, right? Is why should I do business with you now? Well, here's why. Take action now and get this XYZ. Why now, right? Use the emotional triggers, as I said, not logic, not manipulation. Be ethical, right? And often do this sort of taking action in a series of steps. You know, if you're selling a pair of shoes, that might be a simpler 1, 2, 3 step in a cart. But if you're selling professional service and an attorney, you know, lawyer, doctor, dentist, etc., you know, there might be a great opportunity for you there to do this in a steps kind of approach where you have clicks to get to something. You have certain forms that you fill out. You can certainly buy direct, as I said, and then email follow-ups. Much of this is behind the scenes, maybe a first click attribution or touch point, and then you have a lot of this stuff going on behind the scenes. Well, you need to test all that, right? There's not a model that says, yeah, apply this and you're done. You need to test everything. As I said, you need to be smart about it, and there's a science approach to some of this stuff, but most of it is going to be tested. So it's not just logic, as I said. Track and measure it. Include into the system when it's working. So you probably have a marketing system. If you don't, make sure you build one. And test and track and build it into the system if not working. And of course, that tracking also means track it to the business, you know, the financial area. Are you actually getting ahead or are you falling behind? And then tweak as necessary. And here's the big one. Remember I talked about trial and error? Well, pretty much expect failure. Not very supportive, I know, here this morning, but hey, expect that because that's the only way you'll win. And I ultimately would say that the value has to be profound. It has to be throughout your copy, throughout your messages, throughout your funnel, absolutely everywhere. And we know the notion of a perceived value, right, which is helpful. But if you don't have core value and massive value, you're going to eventually lose out. So you can do that obviously also by proof. You can do it by providing real solutions and real results that they can see for themselves very, very easily. And in some cases, you can give away stuff, right? So that actually helps them right off the bat. It's sort of this concept of results in advance. We have implemented some new programs in that regard and actually gotten great results with customer acquisition simply for doing this results in the advance concept. So I hope this has helped you on the human connection and how you can build and speak to the behaviors and create mastery for yourself and actually build some real money-making strategies. Again, top level stuff here, but very, very important to build the castle. And we know that as we do this, we want to be able to build real strategies. And strategies are before tactics, as you know, and we're going to build out some strategies for you right now. And it starts with this main idea. You need to really know and learn about your market, and not tomorrow, but now, right? This is an instant type of a thing. If you have been coasting along in your business for too long and or you're brand new, do not go out there and spend money on fancy websites and logos and, you know, business plans that basically have, you know, you've spent so much money on that mean nothing. Go ahead and use some of these principles I'm going to break down for you right now. And remember, there's this idea of brand marketing, you know, the recognition of your brand. Sure, it's exciting to have it. You know, you're driving around on the freeway and you see it from the air, you see it at the billboard, you hear it on the radio, you go home and you see it on TV. That is not what I'm talking about for you. And plus, that's not where I want you to go. I want you to use indirect marketing. It's basically, I don't want you to use indirect marketing, which is kind of that branding marketing, recognition marketing. I want you to use response marketing. But let me just tell you that the branding marketing, the goal there is just that people will follow up with you just on a sort of expected basis. It's sort of like the firms who do this and the big marketing agencies and ad agencies, they really don't deal with rejection very well, right? It's more like somebody called this marketing chickens. It's like, hey, I've pushed that out there. I've spent $1 million on this campaign. They will know your name. My job is done, right? Not a great way to go. We want you to use response marketing. In fact, direct marketing is a fantastic way to go, and especially if you're a startup and if you want to crank your marketing to the next level. And the goal there is conversion. So unlike branding marketing is just follow-up and continuity, the goal for direct response is conversion, and it's money in your bank. And it's personal responsibility for sales. It's not some ad agency that charges you some money and says, I'm done. This is you personally responsible for sales. And of course, here it's helpful if you have some history of selling and working directly on sales. But you don't have to have this. You can work this out. You can work it with a change in mindset. You can work it with a change of approach. And, of course, learning about your market, as I said. Now, an interesting sort of book you could sort of note here that you can consider is a book by Claude Hopkins called Scientific Advertising. I consider this a must-read, Scientific Advertising. You can probably get this for free now, but it's up on Amazon as well. And it really helps you to think about, how do I sell through direct marketing? A fantastic book, and there's many out there, but I would start with this one. And really, we get now back to learning about your customers. Here's an interesting thing. You've seen a $1 bill. You've seen a $100 bill. Well, what's the difference? What is the difference? This is the same paper, right? Same coloring, pretty much. Maybe it's changed slightly now. I saw a new color here on a new $100 bill. Anyway, it's the words, right? It's the words that they use. So the $100 bill, I mean, there's 2 zeros next to that versus the $1 bill. So you need to learn about your customers. What words do they use? I mentioned this before, kind of that messaging, the positioning. What are their customer personas, their avatars? You hear this, sort of define that group. And you want to sell to them, provide for them, and make money. You want to serve them well. And when you do this, think of it as, I'm selling to who? Well, I'm selling to Bob or Jane. Define that person, sell to that one person at a time. And once you see that starting to work, well, then replicate that and start scaling it out, right? And when you do all of this, you can do it in a very, very fantastic way these days. EBM, you may have heard this term, education-based marketing. You may not agree with this for all settings and for all scenarios. And true, if you're an e-commerce based solution, you're selling shoes, as I said, you don't have to educate them to ends earth on why you should buy that pair, or why, they might say you should buy that pair of shoe, right, or those shoes. But you need to have some level of authority built, as I said. You need to educate your market, you need to build trust, and you need to position for sales. And the way you can do that is, of course, through different media these days. I talked about video. Video is fantastic. But you have audio now, you have podcasting, you have CDs in the car, you have downloads you can get to, you have special DVDs that you can create, and many ways that you can get it out there. And one way, for instance, is to provide a CD, an audio CD that you ship to them when they sign up, to educate them. And that, of course, they can listen to in the car. It's sort of the ultimate portable university. And, when you do this, make sure you don't just copy what's out there and what other people are doing. Research and compare in your market and find out, what are some of those things that I should be doing that is just a little bit different. Dan Kennedy, who's a mentor, talks about this sort of opposition marketing, or opposite way of marketing, rather. And that is not just this sort of hope and pray or copy and spray marketing. It's really, how do I differentiate in a competitive marketplace by doing things a little differently, yes, but becoming the authority, the leading voice, and making sure that you actually provide value through these different medias. An absolutely great way to go to build trust and to position yourself as a top authority in that area. So the strategies that you build out is going to have to be based on the direct marketing principles, as I said. It's going to be based on really learning about your customers and your market. And it's going to be based on education-based marketing, which essentially is a way for you to show you your caring and your sharing, but also educating them so that they know, okay, I know exactly why I should do business with this person over anybody else, and it's clear to me that these are the companies that I should, or this is the company that I should be working with. All right, so I really have enjoyed this so far. We're about half an hour or so in here now. Time goes fast, right? We're having fun here today. I hope you're enjoying this. I certainly am enjoying doing this for you. And let's really dive into an exciting area. There's so much here. Now that you have the foundations right, you have the human connection understanding and the marketing strategies at a top level. Yeah, the ultimate Swiss Army knife, right? What can you do to really lift this to the next level for you? Acquiring more customers, clients, and patients through tactics. Well, here's the pro and the con. There's so much you can do. The con is, of course, yeah, there's too much. There's information overwhelm. And you've seen this. You get it. I mean, look at your email inbox, right? What do you do first? I mean, you hear this a lot, especially for startups and entrepreneurs. I have so much to do. What is the best strategy? What do I start with? Well, the first thing they should start with, and that would be you in this case, start with this video. Go back, listen to it, take notes, and think about the strategies and the foundations first, because you could get into the coolest Facebook strategy that's working right now only to see it fail because you don't have your messaging and your positioning right, which is completely blow you out of the water and you wasted time and money. So let's dive in. There's a lot in this area, and I'm going to cover probably 60-70% of this. Maybe it's more like 80% because I'm realizing, wow, this list is big. But man, I tell you, you can go to town on this and do it with that strategy in mind and with a allocated budget in mind and with an expected result in mind. You know, set up those goals. You know, make sure that you plan this out so it's not just, hey, I became another mini ad agency within my own firm. I spent a lot of money and I have nothing to show for it. Think about the direct response approach. So, without further ado, let's dive in, right? Well, right up the top here, we have websites. Websites and online ads. Basically, the ability to show an ad somewhere and take them right to your website, and really in specific, to be very specific, your page, a specific page. We talked about niching earlier. You know, if this is a generic copy, ad copy, and a generic page, you haven't listened to this video. You haven't listened to this presentation. You need to make sure that you're very, very specific. You know, who are you talking to? What problems are you trying to solve? You know about the ADA formula, I'm sure, which is attention, interest, desire, and action. And within that, and that's a true trusted formula, which you can read about also in the scientific advertising. But within that, you may have problem statements. You will have problem statements. You may want to agitate that problem a little bit more, right? And then present a solution. But all of this is in another course that I'm training, which is Copywriting Essentials. We're not going to do that here today, but websites is number one. You need to have a website. This is not an option. Sure, you see them out there. Don't need a website. Just go to Google Places, you know, the local Google Places area. Set up a Google Plus account and just drive traffic. This is not business building. This is tactics building. You need to think of this as a business. And again, you're not at a job here. This is business building, as I said. Next one, emails, email marketing. Email is dead. Email marketing is dead. No, that's the biggest BS in this century, right? We know that email marketing is essential to business building, yet so many folks out there are not using this to the biggest degree or to the degree that they could. Number three, videos. Videos, I talked about them already. You can do a direct-to-camera situation. You can do a presentation like this right here. Many ways you can utilize that video. But if it's education based, if it's entertaining, if it's interesting, not boring, right, and it helps educate and serve your audience, you have really mastered this. Yes, you have to optimize it, and there's strategies for that for search engines. Again, we're not doing that here today. That's another course that I have, but ultimately, we want this to be a strategy built out for this, and so that when the tactics come around and you choose videos as your option, well, you'll know a lot to do for it, as well as understanding that maybe a short video, 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 minutes, is all you need to get started answering the top 10 most asked questions for your business, and that's simply your first video. And then get it out there, and then embed it on your website, embed it in your blog, put it on your front page of landing pages. Test it, of course. Blogging. That's number 4 here. Very, very exciting to see what blogs can do for you. Most people, many people, I would say, freak out as I talk to them. Well, I am not a writer, I'm not a blogger, I don't know the technical issues. Well, guess what? This is the whole bit about opening up your mind. This is about changing an approach. If that's your mindset, you're stopping yourself at the gate, and I talked about that in the video too. Does it mean that you have to have a blog? Well, yeah, I would say 90% plus in the cases, yes. But if you're a writer and you have written articles and you're doing this already, yeah, a blog is going to help you because you can automate this in the sense of having a nice sort of content management system that you don't have to FTP with and deal with HTML issues and things like that. But it also helps you because it has some behind the scenes kind of functionality, RSS, really simple syndication in XML, technical terms I know, but these can actually be sucked up by search engines and other sort of aggregate type of directories that use this information. So that's number 4. Number 5, we know about this, social media of course, but within that is a huge opportunity for you. And Facebook now, 1 billion plus users, Twitter, LinkedIn, more for the B2B side. Of course I mentioned YouTube before and videos. There's top categories of platforms here that you should be basically not only looking at, but focusing on. And here is where I see a lot of businesses go wrong. They go too broad too fast. So they sign up for a bunch of these platforms. They try a few of them. They go broad. They haven't done their research. And then they claim this doesn't work. You need to pick one, and typically one where your audience lives, right? So if you're not a B2B organization and yet you're going hardcore on LinkedIn, well, you need a presence there. You need a personal profile. You need a company profile, but you don't need to go deep on that. Maybe your customers, if you're a local shop, are more on a Facebook kind of platform. Well, then sign up for Facebook. Next here, number 5. SEO. We want the technical aspects to be done right. We want the navigational and ease of use context to be done right. We want it to be search friendly so that search engines can pick it up, and Google of course is number 1 search engine, but there are others out there which also includes videos. As I said, we want it to be all friendly. Now this is not an SEO course either. Yes, I have another course for that as well, and you can get that. If you're part of the book, you'll get access to some of this anyway. So next one here, pay-per-click, AdWords, Facebook, LinkedIn. And within those, you have display networks. The biggest ad place right now in the world is Google for display. And you can get this for very low cost. Here's the interesting thing. Many people sort of shy away from click costs. Well, you actually need to build out an ROI-based financial model for your advertising so that you understand exactly how much a acquisition of a customer costs, how much you're paying, and what your ultimate ROI is on a transactional level, but also over time, right? This is not just a one-time and done. So when you do this, you can use these pay per click and pay per impression, CPM it's called, to actually use these engines to help you and to lift posts, to lift brand, to lift your sales pages, all of that. Well, that's not the only thing. Guess what? Newsletters and e-signs, very big in certain industries. And the Fool.com is all about the investment realm. Have some great newsletters and e-signs that is a big business builder for them. Many others in many industries, but considering a newsletter, and even if it's a monthly newsletter, and it could be tips, insights, strategies from the business, from your business, that helps your audience, and maybe a compilation of posts for the month from your blog, right? Very easy to do. You can even do this and create an offline where you actually mail a monthly newsletter to them. Feature your customer a month, sort of a showcase of a top client for the month. They'll love it. They'll share it everywhere. Leave it on coffee tables and share with their friends, family, and other businesses. Direct mail. Earth mail, as it's called, just hardcore delivery through the postal system, postcards, etc. I mentioned the newsletter. Direct mail is a huge strategy. Not the only strategy, but again, can you see how this all ties together? That if you have built out your personas, your strategies, your messaging, your positioning, and you now are starting to look at strategies in terms of tactics into some of these things I've just mentioned, email, videos, blogs, etc. Well, we got the direct mail. We also got local yellow pages still, right? While this is waning and going away for many, many businesses, it's still out there. And what's interesting, when you flip through the local yellow pages, I just got one here the other day, so much of this bland sort of I've seen it everywhere copy. I mean, don't you hate it? And so much money wasted on that. But it is changing. But in some businesses, I mean, one business that I worked with, and they called it out. It works very well for them. Is in the sort of emergency water damage and fire damage area. If your phones are out and you don't have a cell and your house is lit up, but you happen to find the yellow pages, you could still go to the neighbor and find a place to call anyway. So the local yellow pages is out there. Magazines, of course, you have circulars and advertising in all of those. Flyers and coupons and brochures. I mean, it keeps on going here. Bios and profiles are very interesting here. Many of those bios and profiles that you see from LinkedIn to Twitter, Facebook have not been built out, and they don't realize, wow, I have another way I can actually provide a link here to a particular page, and hopefully it's not just your home page, but maybe a specific landing page with a call to action, and then building those out, and even cross-linking those can be a very helpful thing. Craigslist, ads on eBay, Amazon, etc. Another fantastic strategy for for a certain business, right? And consider Amazon, and perhaps if you're more in the affiliate space, you're already on there, but you can build out your own stores on eBay and Amazon, and you know about Kindle, of course, now a fantastic way to create your Kindle ebook and publish on Amazon and pay for ads to drive traffic to it rather than your homepage, and from it to your landing page. I mean, how about that as a strategy? Very, very successful model. Strategic sales letters or video sales letters, VSLs, a fantastic way to go. Now, when I say strategic, again, it ties into understanding your marketplace. This is not just a bland sales letter trying to sell, sell, sell. This is positioning and selling, and upselling and cross-selling and downselling, right? You're starting to get these terms now. Telemarketing scripts. How many times do I call a company up only to hear sort of a random choice of words when they're trying to sell or position themselves? They clearly haven't done training, but there are no scripts. You can get these scripts very, very detailed and very, very specific. And I worked at a company once where we mined all these questions and answers that people had. I developed actually a model for this in a database that later was sold to Microsoft. But essentially, you have a way to direct the conversation that helps your listener and the receiving end, but helps you as a company to move towards the sale, right? And it could be as simple as, at the end, every caller gets this message. Thank you for calling today. Click here to get a free video on X or a free download on Y, right? Radio, TV, advertising. Yeah, very well known. Very much underused or sort of not used correctly, rather, in this sort of direct marketing response. Too much of this branding. What comes to mind is, of course, the millions of dollars spent on Super Bowl, where a call to action is simply the brand. I mean, it's brand advertising. That's the indirect method, right? Big time changes could be made in that if they ever came around to it, but they won't. Trade shows. That is, of course, not something that I use primarily for my business, but for many, this is a killer way of building customers. But there too, many ways to optimize that experience. because too many times you walk to a booth and drop your card in and take a flyer, watch a demo, and leave. And then when you leave, there's very little to no follow-up, no phone calls, no emails, no additional offers, no ways of finding out who am I. They don't ask me really much about me. When they do, they ask in a way that makes it be about them, right? Notice how that works? And of course, it's exciting. You're at a trade show. It's like, hey, Bill, how you doing? Yeah, how do you like the show? Well, tell me a little bit about what you do. Okay, great. Well, let me show you now what we do. It's like end of conversation. Switch that. Make it much more about them and how you can help them, and enter the conversation that's going on in their head. What are they actually thinking when they walk up to your booth at your trade show there? Is it just sort of meandering around, or are they actually looking for something? And what does your surveys show? What do your surveys show about that? Think about that one. Co-registration. Big business. You see this, if you sign up for New York Times or, some of these subscription-based sites, when you get to their thank you page, there'll be other opportunities. Sign up for Horse and Carriage or, other magazines. There's basically an upsell opportunity. It's co-registration, the ability to join up with other companies that have huge lists, and you can actually get an added benefit by being part of their funnel on those pages. Online display advertising, you already know about this, but I need to mention it. Webinars. Big deal. Some of the top industry leaders today in the internet marketing realm are using webinars. I use webinars as well. Fantastic way to go here. Go to Webinar, of course, for being a very viable platform from Citrix. But you also have Google Hangouts now. Google Plus Hangouts with YouTube video connection. Very fast and easy to do. And also free, right? So consider that. But webinars, big deal. In fact, this video could be 2 hours just on webinars and how to do the webinars and how to set them up. Press releases. Press releases have been overused in the SEO world for so many years. It's been all about sort of spamming and getting links and, exact matching hypertext links, those anchor texts that match the keywords, etc. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about press releases for basically building your visibility out there and having this as an additional booster to your promotional strategies. Well, press releases, fantastic way to go. App Store should not be missed here. Platform promotions. So, of course, the iPhone, I have one here, and apps in the Apple Store or the App Store on Apple is a fantastic way to build additional presence for you and doing platform promotions through it. And you can even there get into some cross-sell opportunities with other application developers that maybe fit your particular niche. Billboards, have not used that much myself, actually none, but billboards, of course, are very active out in certain marketplaces. You can use that. Affiliates, the revenue shares, very big deal. If you can partner up essentially with a company that already has a list, a big list, where you can share in the revenues, or if you can provide some value to the company for free, you can actually get tremendous exposure and fast growth in building your own email lists, but also building your presence out there in the marketplace. So as an affiliate, you can actually, yes, get that visibility, as I said, but also make money by selling other people's products. Field and sales marketing, that's just going out to the field and doing the traditional sort of sales and marketing roles. Custom outreach and link building. Well, that is also a PR and promotional strategy. Helps build, of course, for links and trust for your search engine optimization. But doing custom outreach, and you hear a lot about this in this guest blogging realm. Well, if you have significant leadership and already a voice in a community, you can reach out to bloggers. You can reach out to other magazines or outlets online that let you write for them. And in sort of as a return favor for that, typically in the bio, in the resource box at the end of the article, you'll get a link back to your page. And that can be a link straight to your home page, or it might be a specific page that you're trying to promote. But it's about their audience. It's not about you. It's sort of this classic model, as I said, of Cialdini at the top is reciprocity. If you're doing something for them, they'll probably do something nicely for you, right? Well, here's one great one. Free trials and freemiums. The idea that you give something away completely for free, that has tremendous value, 10 times the value you hear out there. Well, whatever the value is, you'll know it because people will tell you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And these freemiums are essentially sort of some of your premium products or services that you can give away for free to show them how it can help them in their lives and in their businesses. And here's what often happens. If they give this stuff away for free, how much more value could I get if I pay? Wow, creates sort of an exciting conversation for you there. Retargeting, remarketing, essentially a cookie-based sort of advertising mechanism that allows you to, if you place an ad, here's a simple example, you place an ad out on Facebook right now, you can set up a retargeting platform so that you show up in the sidebar that people can see later. So they may not have acted at the first touch point, but they act later through retargeting. And we have tools like Perfect Audience, AdRoll, Retargeter, and Google Remarketing. And Facebook has a new remarketing for the web as well that's just out there. So tremendously exciting to think about all these tools and strategies that I've gone through. But we're not done. You have sort of this word of mouth concept, incentivized, So again, if I do something for you, I'm going to incentivize you to share this in a word of mouth manner. This video, if you like this video, you might want to share it. Well, that's kind of the word of mouth bit, right? Very, very beneficial for me in this case. Tell a friend. You see those tell a friend forums? Well, they're a little cheesy right now. Tell a friend. You have more of this concept of the social shares, the likes, and all that. But tell a friend, that concept should not be missed. And in some industries, that can work very, very well. And the final one here is, wait for it, yeah, contests and giveaways. Contests and giveaways. Wow. Big, big strategy here to be tested. And again, this is part of a huge list. You'll get access to this at the end of this video. But again, I wanted to mention this to you because all of these, while exciting and man, just one of these tracks like SEO or pay-per-click can give huge benefits to your business. It doesn't matter unless you get this marketing strategy and the foundations right, which we have covered. So if you're thinking about building this and you're diving into a pay-per-click AdWords training course and you're really just learning this to drive traffic for no specific reason other than to beat your competitors, I mean you can tell already, right? It's not a strategy. That's just sort of a mind game and a play game, and it's not building a business, as I said. So again, not trying to be too harsh here, but in one way I am, because I see so much of this and it's not done right. And I hope that these marketing mindset essentials, part of this marketing mindset training, has really been helpful for you. In fact, I'm going to summarize this for you right now. The foundation, as I said, all of the things that need to go into place to build that house, to build that castle so it is standing on solid ground, must be in place. Clearly, you need that human connection, all the things that we talked about in developing your persona, and who am I talking to, who's that audience, what are their needs, what are their wants, what are their psychographics. Clearly all of this demographic stuff needs to be there, the technographics, their technological bent, right? Then we can move into strategies and building out for kind of a detailed plan which has associated goals with them and results that we expect. And then we dive into the tactics and we find the ones that work. Well, how many should you start with? Each business is clearly different. If you're brand new, you start with one. If you've been at this for a while and want to expand and you found that one is working, then keep expanding that. Add a new one. You would have maybe 3 to 4 to 5 campaigns going for you. Again, different scopes here, different budgets, but do not rely on just one. Yes, it's true. You've seen it before. Perry Marshall talks about this, the 80-20 rule of business. The results are going to come from probably 20% of your work, right? So the 80% results is 20%. Right now, a simple exercise for you could be simply going through and looking at this saying, hey man, wait a second. I could go through and prune my lists. I could go through and kind of prune and detail out what's working for me in the marketing sense. and start getting rid of stuff that's just been pending. Maybe there's a product that you've been sort of dragging along that's not working. Maybe there's a new model working for you, or it's happening in your marketplace that you need to pursue. Well, you could go after that and research your market, trying to find out what kind of tactics can support my strategies that speak to those humans that I want to connect with, that builds up that ultimate foundation for the house. So I just want to thank you here today, because this has been an hour of just intense, massive amounts of data. You can download this mind map that essentially builds out this marketing essentials, mindset essentials, which is part of the training. And I'm going to send you the link. But the key here is not to look at the mind map alone. You need to re-watch and re-listen to this presentation. And when I say need, yes, you must, especially if you're new. And learn more as you go. Think about this. Get the books that I mentioned. Get Cialdini's book. Get the scientific advertising book. Apply them to your business. Think about this. And all along, don't forget to ask questions. And now those questions could come in the form of, hey, I have a question for you, Jon. Send it over to me. Could it come in the form of, I have some questions for my audience. I have questions for my customers. Develop a survey. All that. Asking questions. Seek and you shall find, right? And you will understand. I want to thank you for your time here today. But really, at the end, I also too want to create a call to action for you. And that is, if you want to see some of these principles in work, you can go to, if you don't see this URL, I'll call it out for you. It's my domain, JONROGNERUD.com/web profits formula. And let me just make sure that I got that URL right, because I wrote it here and I've been changing this around a little bit. And web profits formula essentially shows you all of these foundational things, the human connection points, shows you some of the strategies in there and the tactics. However, here's the exercise for you. When you look at that web profits formula, think about what are some of those strategies that I talked about today that I've applied into that particular page. And I'm not going to share with you until you go there, but I'm actually using probably 90%, 95% of all the things that I talked about here today. And you can see it in a practical manner. And I urge you to take a look at this, because frankly, if you see something, if you listen to my voice and do very little, it's not helpful, obviously. But if you can take and apply some of these to your own world and see some examples from some of the things that I'm doing, and it's actually working extremely well, then maybe you'll take it to the next level. So I want to thank you again for your awesomeness here today, for being here and listening to this all the way through. And I'll send you a note. Just shoot me a note at contact@jonrognerud.com, and I'll send you that mind map. If you came into this in a different funnel, you probably already have that mind map, but I just want to make sure you get it as well, because then as you watch this video, you'll see how I kind of talk through it. Plus, it's a kind of a cool example for you to see how I developed this video by putting up some slides here today and talking through it using the mind map. So a lot more thought into the mind map, clearly, and it kind of helps you as a guide. So that's just a little tip for you at the end. But I'm excited that you stayed with it, and look forward to seeing you in the next video. And thank you again if you are somebody who bought this book, because you'll be the first one that saw this video. So again, have a great time. Enjoy your day, evening, or night. All right. See you later. Bye.